If you feel like you're failing, underperforming, you're just generally frustrated, I want to encourage you. But I also want to tell you what you could be doing that will ensure you're not underperforming, that you're not failing. So let's talk about some reasons why you might be failing or underperforming, or better said, why you'll feel that way. You're comparing yourself to some business owner that has grown a really big business really fast, and you feel like, what's wrong with me? The thing you're ignoring is they've been doing this for way longer than you. As an example, if you compare yourself to me, I'm probably older than you. Or maybe I'm not older than you, but I've been doing this longer. I started young, you started in your 30s, you started at 40. I got an advantage on you, but you're feeling bad about yourself, and it's not fair. I've been doing this longer. Or maybe you've started building a business and you're just not getting the growth, and you're in a bad market. I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm in North Dallas. It's a great market. I grew up in the country. Where I grew up was literally in the country. There was like, I don't know, 2, 4, 6, 8 kids, 10 kids that lived around me. Now, there was more than that, but like 8 or 10 I knew. And I would have had to have ridden my bike 8 miles to get to school, where most of the kids lived around the school. I graduated a class of 90 to 100 people. It was the country in a sense back then, at least where I lived. It was just all land around me, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of acres around me. And then some people on the street where we lived. It just so happened that area happened to become one of the fastest growing places in the United States. And boy, did that benefit me when I later decided to start a outdoor services company. But you might be living somewhere else where that didn't happen to you. And you're saying, what's wrong with me? Why can't I build a $10, $20 million business? Why can't I do whatever it is you're trying to do? You might eventually be able to do that in your market, but it might take longer because it's a smaller market. Or it might be you could never do that in your market because you're in a really small market. And to be very honest, and you don't want to hear it, you kind of need to move to go fully utilize the skill set you have. Maybe you're comparing yourself to people with jobs. You're 32 years old, 35 years old, I don't know, whatever your age is. And you've got all these friends that have nicer cars, nicer homes, 401ks, and they're doing vacations. And you're like, still, you're making money, but you're like, you can't go do all that stuff. You've got to invest in the business and protect the business and save some money. You can't go buy all that stuff. If you buy that stuff, it means your company grows slower. You can't take more money out of the business. And so you're feeling like you're behind. But if you were to actually, if you're building a business that could be sold someday and you were to tally up where you stand, your net worth might actually not be half bad because you've got an asset that might be worth $1 million or $2 million. They got 80 in their 401k and they've got 110 down on their house and they've got a $500,000 note and their cars are financed or maybe one's paid for. Who's really winning? They look like they're doing better, but you're kind of winning when you look at the balance sheet. Or you're comparing yourself on social media. Well, that's pretty close to worthless because there are legitimately people really winning, but they've self-selected of the 8 billion people in this world or whatever the number is we're up to. Like you're seeing the few that are winning. They're on social media. But also most aren't really winning. It's just a bunch of BS and everybody's talking and putting on a show. If somebody is driving a Lamborghini, it means zero. It means zero. You can buy that car on credit and pay a monthly payment. It means nothing. So I wouldn't get too worried about it. What I've noticed is most people on social media, they're like, I'm making $2 million a year. Gross revenue is not making $2 million a year. It's just gross revenue. It doesn't tell you anything. But so many people are like, oh, I'm making all this money. You don't know any of the data behind the scenes. So don't get worried about that one. It's also, as an entrepreneur, probably how your brain works. The way your brain probably works is you imagine it, you see it, you kind of solve for how you're going to do it in your head, and your brain thinks you're done with that thing. But then you don't have it. Like, why don't I have it? What's wrong? So that's frustrating. Like you already see the future, the vision, but you don't have the thing. That drives you crazy. That makes you feel like you're behind. It makes you feel like you're not getting it fast enough. I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but you don't feel like you have any money. It's kind of back to that one where you're comparing yourself to your friends that have some money because they have jobs and they don't actually have to set that much money aside because they assume they'll have a job next week. So they just keep spending all their money. Whereas you're like, I kind of got a business that I can't take all the money out of, and I might need to invest more money in the future. And if something bad ever happens, I got to put some money back into the business. So I can't go buy a boat right now. I can't do all those things my friends are doing. That's kind of another version of the I have no money thing. But really, you're not as poor as you feel like you are, because if you're building something that can be sold, as I said earlier, you got net worth. So let's talk about why you might not be falling behind if you're doing certain things. I think that's a good way to put it. So if you're doing these things, you're not falling behind, even if you're comparing yourself to somebody else that has more stuff or more vacations. Are you out of the field? If you're not out of the field doing the technician work, fixing the HVAC system, killing the bugs, mowing the lawn, trimming the trees, cleaning the house, if you're doing any of those things, bad, you're behind. Get out of the field. It's like, number one, get out of the field. There's no excuse. Get out of the field. Period. It's step number one. If you're out of the field, kudos to you. You're making progress. You're now building a business. Are you around other people that are ahead of you that you're learning from and you're applying their ideas? You're growing your knowledge and your skill set? Good. You're ahead of the game. Are you in a group, like maybe a business group or a coaching group, and you're learning and you're actually implementing? Like, you get the ideas and you go do them? Okay, you're beating most people. You're growing your skill set. You're growing your confidence. You're growing your ability. All that stuff, growing your skills, your ability, your knowledge, will serve you forever. If this business melts down, you can start another one with all the skills. If you sell this business, you're not like, I don't know what to do now. That was my only thing. No, you've got a whole skill set to go do it again. Most people don't have the skill set to do this stuff. So if you're growing those skills, great. Are you living below your means so that you can invest in your business and make that thing grow faster so that eventually you can get tons and tons and tons of money off it, and it's something that creates real wealth in your life because somebody will buy it? Okay, you're not behind, but maybe you don't have a lot of money in the bank right now, but that thing's growing. Are you having hard conversations with people? You're firing people? You're coaching people? You're telling people when they're underperforming and you're helping them get to a place inside your business that they can learn from and then perform and help you? Okay, most people don't do that. You're winning. But you can't measure that in the size of a house or the car or the boat or any of those things. Are you focused in your business on a few things that are going to get you the most result, and you're working on those things before you move on to the next thing? Nobody does that. Good for you. Are you prioritizing what you'll work on based on the return on investment? So you've got 90 things you need to do. What are the 2 levers you can pull on, the 2 things that will get you the most ROI? They'll get you the most money back in your bank account, or grow the business the most, or get you the most clients, or solve the biggest pain for your employees, or solve the biggest pain problems for your clients. If you're thinking that way, you're winning. Are you learning how to market and sell? Marketing is like and selling are the greatest skill sets ever. You could take those to anything. If tomorrow you lost your business and you're really great at marketing and selling, you can go work for somebody else. You can start another business. Are you developing those skills? Are you putting real money behind that stuff and growing your business using those skills? Are you studying that stuff? If you are, you're winning. Are you learning how to become a leader, to manage people, grow people, coach people, like cast a vision for where the company is going, and then help the company get there and get people to kind of charge on that path with you? All right, you're winning. Are you delegating to others, and you're as quickly as you can? It's like, you do the thing, you figure out how to do it, and like, okay, I got to go do these problems. I'm going to give these to you, and here's how you do them. And we're going to stay in sync, and we're going to check in. I'll coach you. I'll get you training if you need them, but you're taking all that off my plate. I'm moving on to the next thing so we can grow the company, and so that I can grow my skill set and I can learn and work on bigger and bigger things. You're winning. So everything I just gave you as a list may not be stuff that has resulted in you making $500,000 a year or $1 million a year, or having sold your company for 10 million or 100 million or whatever number you want to come up with. But that stuff, nobody can take it away from you. All those learnings and those skill sets and that mindset can never be taken from you. And that stuff will be used in your next business. In your next business, it'll be used someday if you sell your business and you have to put on your investing hat and you've got to think about how to make good investments. Most people don't have any of these skills. Most people have never had the fortune to go through these problems and this pain and these frustrations to grow that skill set. Most people do not live in a world of confidence. I live in a world of confidence. You take everything away from me, I could figure out how to do this thing again. I can make the money back. Yeah, it's not going to be fun. I don't want to have to do any of that, but I can do it. Most people in this world, if they lose their job, they are in a state of fear and panic. If their industry goes under, what are they going to do? Because that's the thing they know. I don't feel any of that. And if you're developing a skill set where one day you won't feel any of that, you are winning in a massive way. It just isn't always shown in your bank account just yet. But one day, everything we just talked about, it will show up in your bank account. Just takes a little bit longer than for the person that has a job and a salary and doesn't have to worry about the things you worry about. So if you're doing all those things, feel good about yourself. If you're not doing those things, you just got your list of what you need to do so that you'll get where you want to go.